And Mr. Trump is expected in Atlanta this evening to face charges for his alleged part in attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. Unlike Trump's 3 previous arrests, Georgia officials are expected to release a booking photo.
Well, the former president has hired a new attorney to preside over the election interference case in Georgia ahead of his surrender there today.
That's right. Stephen Sadow, a criminal defense lawyer based in Atlanta, is expected to accompany Trump to the Fulton County Jail tonight. Joining us over the phone is CBS News legal expert and analyst Rikki Klieman. Rikki, what's noteworthy is that you've tried cases against Mr. Sadow. What can you tell us about him and why the former president would be enlisting him here at the 11th hour?
Well, actually, Errol, I tried cases with Steve Sadow.
Okay.
We tried cases in Florida, and we tried cases, many more cases in Georgia together. And these were multiple defendant cases. We had months of trial together. He is one of the finest lawyers that I have ever known. What's interesting about Steve Sadow is he is a person of complete integrity. He has great credibility. And what's fascinating to me is that he has an extraordinary memory. He is a law man. He is someone who can cite cases to you, tell you exactly what the case says. And he is someone that I have turned to throughout decades to ask questions about legal procedure, about rules of evidence. I would consider him a close personal friend, and you will find, is someone who is very understated. He's someone who says his piece and then just stops.
Rikki, the Georgia case against Trump marks the 4th time that he's been indicted. I'm wondering, given your deep history with Mr. Trump's new attorney there in Georgia, what extent do his other legal cases impact how Stephen Sadow is going to tackle the Fulton County case?
I think that the most prominent impact is the issue of time. We have 4 cases here. Jack Smith is going to proceed or attempt to proceed with the January 6th case before the Georgia case. The Mar-a-Lago case, the New York case, those are separate cases. The January 6th federal case in Washington, D.C. is really part and parcel of the Georgia RICO case. So if the January 6th case goes to trial early next year, I am sure that Steve Sadow and the people who work with him will be monitoring that case day by day, because many of the same issues just transfer from Donald Trump being tried alone in a federal court to Donald Trump being tried at the moment with 18 other co-defendants. I also think that Steve Sadow is his own person. I don't know that he will communicate with the lawyers who are defending Donald Trump in the January 6th case, or he won't. But regardless of whether he does, Steve Sadow will try his case and his case alone.
And to your point, Rikki, Mr. Sadow has experience with high-profile clients in Atlanta and defending RICO cases, former President Trump charged under the RICO Act. But it's complicated. So if you're saying he's not likely to communicate with Trump's other lawyers dealing with his other cases, what about the other co-defendants, the 18 of them, with Trump at the top of this scheme, this alleged scheme? How will that complicate things, not just for the defense, but also the prosecution?
Well, I think that's the issue, is it complicates the case on both sides. I am sure that Steve Sadow will communicate with lawyers who are trying this case with him. That is the Georgia case. That's a case where you must speak with each other in terms of the lawyers, because otherwise you will be really at cross purposes. And we can see already the cases at cross purposes, which complicates the defense and the prosecution. And what I mean by that is this. You have Mark Meadows, you have Jeffrey Clark, you will have others who have filed for removal of the Georgia state case to remove it to a federal court. So it would be tried, albeit in the same area, but under the federal system. There are going to be defendants who do not like that at all. The prosecutor is very clear she doesn't like that at all. Then you have another defendant in Mr. Cheeseborough who has filed a motion for a speedy trial and immediate discovery, and he wants to be tried by this November. Well, I can guarantee you that lawyers like Mr. Sadow, as well as lawyers around him, are going to be furious about the fact that someone wants to be, in essence, severed from the other 18. The problem for the prosecution is going to have 19 at the moment. Some of them will, as we say, fold. They will plead guilty. Others of them will be blaming each other at the trial. So you're going to have defendants who are going up against defendants. You have 30 unindicted co-conspirators. That's in addition to the other 18. So District Attorney Fani Willis has created a complex case not only for the defendants, she's created a complex case for herself. This case could take over a year to try.
And Rikki, just in our last few seconds here, why, from your point of view, with everything you've just laid out, do you think the former president changed his lawyer the day before he is scheduled to turn himself in?
Clients change lawyers at times of change. One you have is a very, very good lawyer in Drew Findling, also someone I have known many years. Drew Findling was with Donald Trump for the last 2 years dealing with the special grand jury. Now it is a new time. It is the case itself. So if there was going to be a change, this would be the time. And if, in fact, Mr. Trump should sometime later be convicted, he might change lawyers for an appeal. There are certain moments in time that open themselves up to a natural change of attorney if you feel that a different attorney is better suited for this part of the case.
All right. Rikki Klieman, thank you.
And we now want to bring you this addendum to the story. We now know that one of the defendants in the Georgia case was previously charged with attacking an FBI agent. Harrison William Prescott Floyd III is accused of body slamming an agent back in February. The agents were at his Maryland apartment to serve a grand jury subpoena related to Jack Smith's investigation. In Fulton County, the 39-year-old faces several charges, including racketeering. Those charges are connected to his alleged efforts to pressure a local election worker into falsely confessing to election crimes.